All right, good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the November South Range Board of Education meeting. First, we'd like to call the meeting to order and stand for the pledge, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Shamira, you want to call the roll for us, please?
Shelley Collegian.
Here.
Terry Loud.
Here.
Amy White.
Here.
Elizabeth Johnson.
Here.
Brian Bagwell.
Here. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda itself. Did anybody see anything that we needed to correct or change before we move into it? If there was none, we just need a motion to approve.
I'll approve.
Terry moves.
Second.
On the next page, I guess. Liz seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the first item on the agenda tonight is the recognition. I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Polnick.
Yeah. Best part of the day, best part of the night. We would like to celebrate students that have earned the Raider profile from the middle school. I know Mr. Zolak and his team are here, and parents, just as a heads up, this was voted on, this was created by students themselves, staff themselves, and then we chose the criteria of what it means to be a Raider above and beyond, right? So the kids that are being honored tonight are going above and beyond and really working to get better every day. So we are very excited. I will invite Mr. Zolak to come up and he can start celebrating.
Sort of stole my thunder as to what a Raider, Raider focused student is. Thrilled to have you here with us tonight. It's my pleasure to introduce our students to you, but I thought it would be great to have the teachers themselves present our students this month. So we're going to start off with 5th grade. I have Mrs. Hostler here, and she is going to present Megan for us.
So we didn't have Megan come up. Megan, come on up. This is Megan Cochran, and she is a delight to have in class. I'm going to read a little bit about you, okay? It says, Megan shows outstanding leadership in her interactions with her 5th grade peers. She models good behavior and engagement in lesson activities. Megan is always a leader in the classroom and whole class discussions. She enjoys being challenged to think deeply about concepts being discussed in class and enthusiastically shares her ideas with others. She quietly assists other students who need guidance or help and enjoys collaborating with her peers to respond to questions and extend her thinking. Megan also sets the perfect example of academic leadership. She consistently earns all A's in her classes and takes pride in all of her work. She's always respectful, courteous, on time, prepared, and kind, leading the way for others to follow her example of excellence. Megan is a quiet, humble leader, but her actions do not go unnoticed. Good job.
So we have a certificate for each of our honorees tonight. And there's your certificate, Megan. Then we have a t-shirt. Actually, these were done in our middle school. So there's Megan's t-shirt. And probably most importantly, you got them a little Starbucks gift card. So that might matter most, right?
Thank you.
So congratulations again, Megan.
Thank you.
So now I have Miss Protein and Miss Howe to do our 6th grade student.
We have chosen Noah Montgomery, so you can come on. Congratulations. The 6th grade team has chosen Noah for the Raider Focus student. At the beginning of the year, the 6th grade students discussed what characteristics make a South Range Raider. Throughout the year, Noah has demonstrated many of these characteristics, which is the Raider way. 5 main components of the 6th grade Raider way are working hard, communicating, being respectful, being helpful, and being kind. Noah works hard each and every day in class. He is always prepared, gets started on his work without being told, and works hard to finish all tasks. Noah communicates well with teachers and classmates. He asks questions when needed, provides information that corresponds to class material, and is diligent at making sure he understands what is being asked of him at all times. The last 3 components are what stands out the most about Noah. He is respectful to all teachers and peers. He demonstrates this by listening intently to what the teachers are telling the class, being aware of his surroundings and his peers' personal space, and listening to other students' responses without judgment. His helpfulness is shown when he works with other students on classwork, helps them to understand the material in class, or helps them recognize the correct task instructions. While being helpful, Noah is very patient, which displays his kindness. He is considerate to all students and staff by only using kind words when speaking and always saying please and thank you. As we move through the year, we are excited to see Noah become the leader that he is. We hope students learn from his actions as they strive to be a better Raider. Thank you, Noah, for all the exceptional behaviors you are demonstrating each day. I hope you know how much we appreciate and notice you following the Raider way. To Noah's parents, thank you for raising such a young man, such a great young man. Thank you. We wish you the best.
We have your certificate from us, and you get your t-shirt. Congratulations, Noah.
Notice all these quizzical looks by the family members, like, are you sure you're talking about me? Mr. Rock, 7th grade.
Hello. As Mr. Zolik said, I'm here on behalf of our 7th grade team to honor Harlow as our Raider Student of the Month. Harlow is an exceptional student and person. She is hardworking, participates in all ways, whether that be in class or during Spirit Weeks or some of our donations for different drives she's participated in. She is welcoming and accepting to any and all of her fellow students. She exudes the Raider way of communication and collaboration. Harlow has always says hello, whether it's to me or the other teachers or fellow students, and begins conversations with us, which, as most of you guys know, is probably not the norm. On multiple occasions, we have seen her offering to plug in someone's Chromebook when their hands are full, just multiple times over the past 9, 10, 11 weeks now. She's went above and beyond to help people out. It's not always just her friends, it's the whole student body. Therefore, as teachers, we are lucky to have her in our classes. Thank you and congratulations again to Harlow Moorfield.
And then Mrs. Chandler will be doing our 8th grade student.
So our 8th grade student is Drake Lowry.
Drake got all dressed up for the occasion. He's coming to us from basketball practice, so that just goes to show he's got a lot of things on his plate.
Drake Lowry is our 8th grade nomination for many reasons. Drake is a student who has learned that perseverance is the key to success. Drake works diligently on his assignments and will work side by side with the teachers until he understands the material. Drake has also taken the initiative to work through his lunch with his teachers to ensure understanding of his material and be on top of his assignment completion. This year, Drake has taken a lot of pride in his grades and has shown maturity as an 8th grader. Thank you, Drake, for being the student that others can look up to and model behavior after. So it's appreciated. Thank you.
So at this time, we're going to invite the board to come up and take pictures with our Raiders of the Month. Parents, feel free. So what we'll do is we'll do a group picture, and then we'll have individual pictures if you want to, take a picture with your child in front of the backdrop. Okay? So you guys want to get around. Teachers, if you want to join, you're welcome to join. Go ahead. Liz, why don't we come over here?
Students in front, right?
Yeah, students will come in front. Okay. Brian, why don't you go in the middle?
Why don't you put your certificates in front?
There we go. Amy, we'll scoot this way. Good. Charlotte, good. Go ahead, Dan. Go right over here. Got a lot of gifts. Scoot over here. Good. Perfect. And now
sorry.
Forgot my job.
All right, parents, if you want to come up and get a picture with the board and your child, feel free, come on up. Anybody else? Feel free. We good?
I'll get in.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it.
So if you guys are done, why don't you guys sit down? The parent, the kids, you can go ahead and sit down with your parent. Stay up with your child, and then we can have all the other children step out. If you guys just want a picture. Yeah, perfect. All right, you guys, you're good? Board, thank you. You want me to take this?
Yes,
That would be great. You want Mr. Zolak in or no?
Sure.
Absolutely. I was trying to get him to say no. One with them. One with them. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, Dana, get out. Come out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's a good picture. Thank you. Anybody else? Yep. Ticket for Ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes, sir. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Alright, we're hopping in with you.
Yeah.
So you want one?
Do you want me to take it?
Yeah, thank you.
One, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Yeah.
Mrs. Foster.
Way to go, Noah.
How about we have the students with their respective teachers?
What's that? Are you serious? I love your cross.
Go back to basketball. Thanks, everybody. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Next is you, right? One, 2, 3, cheese. 1, 2, 3. That's a good picture. Thank you very much. All right, at this time, you're welcome to stay. This is the more administrative stuff, so if you have better things to do, feel free to go do the better things in your meeting.
One more recognition tonight. We just have everybody's attention real quick. So one more recognition for us. You may or may not know, Mr. Zapolnik has been working on his PhD, and he's just completed that 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
So he's now Dr. Jared Zapolnik. I checked just to get some intel from your wife, and she said that he's literally worked daily, every day for hours, 7 days a week for years on his thesis, and first attempt, I believe, when defended it, and is now Dr. Jared Zapolnik, so congratulations.
Great job. The real celebration are the kids. So absolutely enjoy the evening. Feel free to stay, but it's just a normal board meeting. If you have something better to do at this time, it'd be a great time to leave. So thank you guys. Congrats parents for raising phenomenal kids. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's nice to see you. How's everything?
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. Yeah, that's the first thing. That's the first thing he said. Mr. Bates. How are you doing? You're with all your friends.
And then there was one.
Okay, we'll move down to item number 5, public participation. So, anybody would like to speak on agenda items? If there's none, we'll go ahead and move right to communications.
Yes, a lot to celebrate. Thanks to students and parents for being here, and thanks to the board for that special shout out to me. Did not have to do that, appreciate that. First, congratulations to Nicole Freifogel and the high school speech and debate team for earning membership into this prestigious 100 Club. It's because they've been doing so well for so long. There's various layers, and they earned that that recognition last month. I received it in the mail. Shout out to Rachel Ayers from the ESC, who was in the middle school for Hour of Code, and several of the middle school teachers met with her and learned about this process, this activity called Hour of Code. They learned about HyperDocs, nested Google Forms, don't even know what that means, GoGuardian, and a whole bunch of other resources that 8,000 kids in the community participated in. South Orange was some of those 8,000. I think we had 400 kids participate.
Yeah, we will. We have, yeah, she was just there to help
Setting
us
it up.
prepare for that. And,
Yeah.
yeah, talk about some other things.
So again, getting kids in other those college and career opportunities, and this is an action that we're doing to try to get those kids ready. So I'm excited about that. Shout out to Trista over here, amazing, with her entire accelerated math class and how they attended the Mega Day. And 2 of her students actually did really, really well, first and second place. Hannah Strupkis
Yes.
and Harley Boones, who took first place. So shout out to you and your kiddos. We are partnering with the Department of Homeland Security for a transportation safety protocol. I have more information, but we met with the Department of Homeland Security, to do bus inspections and some bus driver training, which is phenomenal. We want to invite the Board of Education to lunch this Friday for our annual Carve the Turkey Day. You might see a few administrators cutting some food, perhaps serving some students. They're worried about portion control, portion size. So that's gonna be fun this Friday. So Board, we welcome you to join us. I did have an update on our administrative guidelines, if we remember, naming of facilities or dedicating grounds. We do have administrative guideline 7250, and last week we did dedicate and name the weight room Dan and Kelly Yeagley Fieldhouse. Next, I'd like Mr. Pagnotta to share just a few updates as you can kind of see what's going on in the school.
Yeah, no, thank you, doctors. Well, as you can see, we have some interactive flat panels here, and these are just a consideration. We are on a committee actively working for grant, for funding for these boards. We do not have the funding, but we're putting it out there. And it's kind of like the perfect time to do so, because we are forming a technology committee. Committee has been formed, and we're going to meet after Thanksgiving on a PD day to review and look at the boards and how they perform in the classroom and what works best for us. So these are just a few of the samples we have. A Samsung, and these came in all free. They just want our business. We put it out there that we're looking at potentially procuring the funding sources for potentially next year. See how that goes. But Samsung, Promethean, and that down there, that one down at the end is a smart board. Now, our smart boards came with the facility. They're about 13 going on 14 years now. They're the boards that work off a projector. The new technology obviously are all touch panel interactive boards. So multi-point touch on them so you can have multiple students at a board at the same time. And some of the boards, particularly the smart board, comes with online Google Drive software that if a student's at home, they could be receiving the same lesson that they would be receiving in the classroom. And that goes for any device in the classroom. They can get the lessons on their Chromebooks. So it's really a change. It's exciting. It's going to be very, very dynamic, and we have more boards coming in. By the end of January, we'll probably have seen up to 10 boards. So we're right where we need to be, we feel, and we're hopeful for potential funding.
Roughly how much does one of those boards cost?
We're ranging from anywhere from $2,000 to up to $5,000 per board.
And we're looking to put them in each classroom?
Yeah, that would be the cost. And that would depend a lot on the features that the committee says, I like this, I don't like this. You know, sometimes simple, the Samsung's very straightforward, not a lot of frills, but it does the job. To Smart's probably going to be your high end here because of the extra software it has and the way it's built, the bells and the whistles. So thank you.
And the last communication item I had was we have been working to implement the facility rental agreement process over the last few weeks or so. We always had that form, and we had to clean it up, some language on it and so forth, and implement. So if organizations were to go about, and if they're in the district, out of the district, or however that works, we have a process in place to make sure they have insurance forms if they're going to use our facility.
What would trigger a fee to a group that would want to use a facility?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if the organization is a board-approved organization, there's no fee to it. So speech and debate, we don't charge if the board says this is an approved event and you're using our facility. We still sign out to make sure we're not double booking the event. But if it's not a district-sponsored program or district-sponsored group, then they would go through the process, and we would work with them on that form. You know, when's the event? How many people? Is security needed? Are you using the kitchen? Because we have contracts with the kitchen and Dean's custodial staff. So if it's a Saturday and they're not district approved, well then we have to somehow get that custodian paid who's coming to work that event or to clean up the event and so forth. So if it's not through the district, if it's an outside agency, then we would work with them to say, hey, here's what the cost is. And it could even be for the space as well. So there's various ways that cost could occur, but we work with that organization to see what they're looking for, how many, what's the time of day, do they need the kitchen and so forth. Great question.
Same thing, do district-sponsored clubs get charged for facilities?
So if it's a district-sponsored, so Steve's speech and debates coming in, no, because that's our organization, those are our kids. Now, if it's for the kitchen, we would have to have a conversation. We'd probably go to the boosters and say, hey, we need a cook in there, we have to pay for a cook. But 9 out of 10 of the situations, it's our district-approved basketball team, we're not charging them. The band, we're not charging them. Speech and debate, we won't charge them, because those are our kids, it's our organization. But if it's a travel basketball team, if it's anything out of the community, out of the district in the community, then we would secure their insurance, we would secure a signature for the security, or for the, I always say security fee, for the facility fee, so,
So it's basically school sponsored,
yes.
not necessarily community sponsored, but
Yes, thank
district
you.
sponsored.
Yeah, district sponsored, thank you. Great question. Anybody else?
Actually, this is a question from Mario. The reason why we're starting to charge to use our space and everything is to cover the cost of the custodial and the kitchen, correct?
Yeah. Yep. So for years, there have been entities, some were being charged, some weren't being charged, but a custodian gets overtime to come in on a Saturday, or let's say, for example, a Sunday, or whenever the situation may be. They get paid additional time to cover that. So general fund has been covering that. Cooks, people have been using the kitchen, we would pay for that cook to come in at no charge of that non-district sponsored entity.
And that would come out of the general fund.
And it's coming out of general fund, so, you know, we're absolutely, the athletic director and I are constant communication. If it's a sports entity seeking to use our facility, to sit with them, to explain it, and to work out, you know, various ways to go through that. So it's been very successful so far. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. So moving on to item number 7, the consent agenda. Do you want to read through those, or want me to read through those?
We would start with Mario.
Just on the financial reports provided, the ones for October, my main treasurer notes just highlight the forecast, which I'll go over later. Then the now is just those timing of over the summer, just how we have the new online record system. It's just, it was over the threshold to approve. And then the bank depository, just another 5-year agreement with farmers to extend our deposits, to make our deposits with farmers. I think payment.
Yeah, payment in lieu, we had one student now attending Ursuline, so that's, normally we do that, you know, prior to when we get that in the summer or spring. But we do have one student now going to Ursuline, so that's on there. And then I had a couple supplementals. We have a 9th grade boys basketball coach with Adam Wari, and also some supplemental contracts with their background checks and so forth. Jeremy Welker, assistant wrestling, and John and Ralph wrestling, and Ralph is volunteering open. And then moving on with substitutes, we have an individual that has been worked, so the board grants me authority to have people work even prior to board approval. So this individual came in and helped us, and we're approving his pay for those days that he came in and worked. So we wanted to make sure that that was official. And we do have Katie, so this is a lot in Mr. Matus' building. We have Mr. Matus has been working extremely hard. I appreciate your hard work to just maintain, buddy, just maintain. So we've had Katie McConaughey coming in for Mrs. Dobro, and Jordan was in for Brooke Stewart. Brooke is now back. So Eileen Highland is subbing for Kelsey between those dates, and then when Eileen leaves, Lori is now subbing for Kelsey. More information will come at the December meeting, because as individuals were coming back from leaves, and that sub was taking individuals who were going on leaves. So we'll have more of those updates. I know Steve is working through those processes daily. So thank you for your hard work on that. And then we have a couple other hires. David Rock is moving to full-time employment starting November 13th. He's going to be placed on step 0 with Zero Mods. We do have a classified resignation, and that's Cole, an iterant custodian, effective 10/19, October 19th. Steve French is resigning from assistant varsity boys basketball, and he will help out later on in the agenda. We have motion to approve the following staff hires $1,000 for the playoff football game workers. Funds are paid out of the athletic/tournament fund with those individuals. And last, we are motion to approve the following individuals as volunteers for this school year. So there's Steve volunteering for basketball. Maria Joseph with the South Range Environmental Students for Environmental Action and Awareness Group that she is working to implement. Terry Kenny and Bree Spencer with speech and debate.
And also within that consent agenda, we have our meeting minutes from the October 18th meeting, so as long as there were no changes or questions on that, that would be included in those items in the motion to accept the consent agenda items. So if there's no changes or questions, we just need a motion to approve those consent agenda items.
So moved. I'll second.
Amy moves and Terry seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. And that takes us to the treasurer's regular agenda.
So we're approving the property forecast this month. If you compare it to the May forecast for the school year, we saw a decrease in the overspending. We had made significant changes in like personnel with the attrition, so that's people resigning this summer. We looked at eliminating some of those positions. Eliminating 3 certified positions and 4 aide positions, 3 in the classroom, 1 bus aide. So that where you saw a significant decrease there. But also with that, we have less insurance benefits, so that's where you saw that decrease on those line items as well. We did make some changes, so a lot of our substitute costs will be under the purchase service line, except for ones that we hire throughout the meeting for like long-term sub positions. Those will still be under personnel, but most of the other daily subs will be through the purchase service of the county. On the revenue side, I forecasted with for our property taxes, we approached the 20 mil floor, but there's House bills and Senate bills right now that are looking to help alleviate some of the taxpayers. So I just forecasted based on historical increases because we're in a reappraisal year and we're at the 20 mil floor, so we get that growth. Where in the past we wouldn't get that growth. So if they alleviate some taxpayers, I don't know, I don't want to project too much, so I just went back to the history of our raises over the last 5 years, and that's what I project going forward. So we'll be paying close attention to it come February, March, when we have to pass a resolution to see how much our rates will increase, and that will impact our May forecast. The Fair School Funding Plan, our state budget, they implemented it, continued for another 2 years. They updated the cost inputs when you do your calculated funding with fiscal year 22 costs. So we were on the guarantee by like $750,000 before. Well, the new cost inputs actually took us off the guarantee, and we're actually getting roughly about $10,000 more. So we're pretty much right on line of where calculated funding is, what we're getting funded for. And on the expense side, I just looked at history of our raises for negotiations. I projected that going forward, and same on with our insurance increases. So our last 3 years, our insurance increases have been 12%, 14.6%, which is probably higher than average than most other districts are seeing. So I projected that going forward was roughly 12%. So those were the main items I just wanted to highlight as you're reviewing the forecast. So do you guys have any questions on the forecast?
So with the 20 mil floor, can you just kind of highlight what that means to us? And you said you're looking at alleviating taxpayer liability with that. I think what you're talking about, from what I've heard, they're talking about lowering that floor to 12 or 14% potentially in legislation coming up. So what would that do to us if, say, if they dropped it to 14%?
Yeah, so with the 20 mil floor in the law is every district is guaranteed at least 20 mils of voted millage. So it's current expense levies. So like your emergency fund is not, our emergency levy is not included into that calculation. So you look at what your operating expenses, what those levies were passed as, and you pass at a certain millage amount. But with inflation, with House Bill 920, they reduce they call it an effective millage. So if you pass a levy for 5 mils, but with inflation, it might reduce what mills you bill the taxpayers to, like, say 3 mils, for example. So you look at all your outside current expense levies, and you can't go below 20 mils because you're guaranteed that amount in the law. So the last couple of years, we approached that amount threshold. So what the with these huge inflation amounts, our legislators have been feeling pressure from taxpayers to help alleviate some public bills in place right now, to where they would either take a 3-year average instead of getting this one huge increase on the reappraisal year, looking at your last 3 years, or they will try to lower that 20 mil forward to like 8 save per example 18, to where that would reduce some of our gross as well. So we have to just pay attention to what the state will end up doing. So I thought it was reasonable to at least project what we got in the past, and that's why I project that going forward. So we just need to pay attention to, so that 4 is like the minimum amount the district should get in mills. So if your effective mills drops below that, that's where you'll kind of see that growth in tax revenue. So I know that was a lot, I don't know if that was confusing.
It was.
So, sorry.
So if we're getting money here, and then they say, we're gonna help taxpayers and we're gonna reduce this to here, where we will be gaining money or we will be losing money.
If the bill would pass, we'd be losing this growth right here.
So
So
we
if they
would
lower that
have a-
forward, that'd be the revenue we wouldn't get.
A big void, and depending if it was at 12, if it was at 14, if it was at 15. Right now, we are currently here, we need to stay here. And if they take away money that they've been giving us, there is a big gap. And there's only so many ways to fill the gap in schools. And that's gonna be the challenge that we'll be watching in January. Because the House has already said, we can't do that to schools, because 51% of schools in Ohio are at this line right here. But the Senate has to vote on it, and the Senate is saying what Mr. Bagwell is saying, well, let's drop that. So what we're hearing is that they're gonna try to compromise some way, shape, or form, so that we don't take a hit like that. We don't know them. And it's the first time they've ever really discussed doing that. Which is why a lot of people, administrators and boards of education are like, why, what is going on? Because they really haven't ever talked about touching that floor.
Yeah, you're right, because I've talked to other, like, previous board members, and they say, oh, you never have to worry about it, it's impossible to lower the floor. And I'm like, no, read this thing, they're talking about it, it's gonna happen quick.
And it would be, they would pass a law. So that's what we've been meeting with legislators. We've been working really hard for South Range, for our community, for our students. We've been writing letters saying how this would be very detrimental unless we had other ways to raise money to get us back up to right where we currently are. So.
So Chairman, is depending on how the legislature goes, we should receive more tax revenue than is currently forecasted. But to be conservative, I at least went back to what we historically got. Because I at least think it's reasonable to at least assume we'll at least get those growths compared to what we potentially could get, depending on what the legislators do.
We'll have to watch for it.
Good.
That moves us to item B. Yep. On the regular agenda.
You gotta vote.
Oh, yeah, that's right, sorry. I'm still in the mode of going back and voting after. Okay, so for the treasurer's regular agenda, the 5-year forecast, we just need a motion to accept that 5-year forecast.
I'll move.
Amy moves,
I'll second.
Shelley seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Now, on to item B.
Mrs. Joseph approached us, Jared and I, about starting a new student activity fund. So I think she put together a plan of what they would, what to do, so what they were going to do.
Yeah, it's a volunteer, just a volunteer environmental club. For example, anything in the community, conservationism. It's a really cool activity. It's completely volunteer, and it is endorsed by VASA and the Department of Education and Workforce, which is called the DO. It is the new ODE. So, but yeah, it's a state sponsored. It's approved. Mr. Rowan, this is year 2 they've been doing it. So this is just a formal recognition that it's a district-approved club.
Well, she would like to start doing fundraisers and collecting money, so that's where we have to
Okay.
formally recognize it. And then a couple questions down, you'll see, to pass the budget purpose, for her to start doing some of those activities.
I saw the description in the board notes, and then it was gonna be funded by fundraising, not general funds, so.
Yes.
Okay, so we just need a motion to approve the SEAA.
I'll second.
We have Elizabeth with the motion, Terry with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. You kinda already hit on item C, so item C is the budget and purpose for that SEAA group. So we need a motion to approve the budget and purpose. Elizabeth moves,
I'll second.
Terry seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. And on to the superintendent.
Yeah, I just have a few. This is just the October Business Advisory Council meeting I attended at Penn State Salem. Learned about various business opportunities, collaborative opportunities. We have a meeting tomorrow. Mrs. Berkey and myself are attending, and it's here in Mahoney County. So yeah, it's just the minutes of that meeting I attended.
Okay, any questions on that? If there's none, we just need a motion to approve.
I'll move.
Amy moves,
I'll second.
Terry seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries.
Next are just various new replacement and revised policies. We met with Neola, went through, I think last month was the first read, and now it's the approval of those same policies. Is that right, Gloria? Yeah. So, yeah, we met with Neola and went through, a lot of it is language, Department of Education, workforce instead of ODE, with House Bill 33 and so forth.
Are there any questions on that? We just need a motion to approve those. Elizabeth moves,
I'll second.
Amy seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries.
This is an annual resolution to approve that our Board of Education's intent not to expand career technical education 7th and 8th grade students. The Board of Education directs us to submit this waiver to ODE. So we are in conversations, and we have a lot that we talk about. We have opportunities that we work with, but nothing formal, like not a formal class cohort yet. So this is just saying that we don't have that yet. I mean, we do a lot of career planning, and Ms. Pettit's in the audience, and I know she just updated us Monday at our administrative council meeting of the various pathways of where we're headed. But this is just a formal for the actual programming in the classroom.
Okay. Terry moves. We just need a second for that. Elizabeth seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. And that will take us to non-agenda items and public participation.
Hi, I'm gonna break a chair. I'm Mary Ann, I live at 992 Road, and I'm coming here, on behalf of the staff to talk about our new system that we're using to find subs. It's not working. It was billed to us as we would have tons more options and people were gonna get paid more.
Board of Education meeting Wednesday, December 20th at 6 PM.
Yeah, I wanted to see what your thoughts were, maybe pushing it back a week. That's the week, we are in school Monday and Tuesday of that week. And I know we don't have school that week, and the high school is supposed to celebrate kids. So might be a little difficult to get kids to attend that meeting. So I was seeing if we would consider possibly moving that to the week before on Wednesday, which would be the 13th. To maybe, parents may be out of town going for Christmas, for winter break, so.
Yeah, I'd be available 13th.
I'm fine with that.
It's good for me too.
All right, okay, so let's change that December to December 13th. At 6 o'clock, same time. Okay, anybody have anything else? I think with that, we just need a motion to adjourn. Elizabeth moves,
I'll second.
Shelley seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
6:47.